video is to go over how to properly complete the DNA case submittal form for DNA analysis cases. To access the form, you'll need to go to the NLCL website and click on the DNA tab. The submission form can be found under the quick links as the DNA evidence submission form. This form will open in a new tab. However, you will need to download it and save it on your desktop in order to properly email the form once it's complete. So once you've downloaded the form, you'll see that there are several boxes in red. These are going to be boxes that must be completed. So this is including all of the important information about your agency, who is in charge of the investigation, and this would be who our DNA analysts can contact to ask questions. You want to make sure that the evidence case number is the same as the case number going into the portal for Justice Tracks. Make sure that the email address and phone number you are leaving are also ones that someone will answer if an analyst calls with questions. And same thing, that phone number. Make sure someone would actually answer and return the phone call should a person want to contact you. After you've filled out your information, you can go into the evidence descriptions and start adding your items of evidence. There are only 8 lines here, and that is as a suggestion for the type of case about how many items should be submitted. So we're looking for a homicide with one victim or more than one victim or suspect. You can look to submit 8 items of evidence. We ask to try to keep these items to the most probative items of evidence to begin with, just so that it can narrow our focus when we're doing our DNA testing. If you have extenuating circumstances or would like to submit more than those items, please call the DNA section supervisor at 318-227-2889 and to discuss the specifics about your case, and she would be happy to instruct on if you can bring more than 8 items and how to go about submitting additional forms. So when you are adding your items of evidence, you want to keep a brief description of what the item is, the location of where the item was recovered. So this could be multiple places, so like the victim's home and the crime scene or the point of entry, if it was on the victim, and then what are we trying to find out about the DNA? Are we trying to find whose blood is on the item, whose semen is on the item, whose saliva, who was wearing the item, etc. And so you can just enter the number that corresponds with the question that you're asking. So these first 8 spaces are just for evidence items. We then down here have our references. So these are the known saliva samples or blood samples taken from victims and suspects. So you will enter their name and then what type of person are they? Are they a victim, a suspect, elimination, or a consensual partner? Make sure that the spellings of your names in these references line up also with the name that is going into Justice Tracks in the portal. This will help clear up any confusion the analysts may have as to make sure that we have the correct name going into the reports. Then we also have some additional questions based on the types of crimes. So for property crimes, about the cigarettes being collected or any biological fluids, if they're to make sure that they are in fact left by the perpetrator and not the homeowners. We also have questions for violent crimes for homicides, and then additional questions for sexual assaults. And this is only when the PERC or the sexual assault paperwork is not collected by the SANE or provided in the kit. And then there's a box here, and this is where you'll enter your case scenario. So any additional explanations as to what happened is helpful and will help the analyst who gets assigned the case in determining where these items came from or how they relate to the crime that we're trying to analyze. So once all of this has been filled out and completed, you'll go ahead and submit your form. And this will ask to send an email using either your default application or you can choose a web mail. And this will bring up a pre-populated email going to our DNA section supervisor, Michelle Jackson, with the subject of our DNA submission form and the submittal form attached. So all you have to do from here is hit send, and this will notify her that you will be bringing evidence in, and it will get the form attached to your case number once it has been brought to the lab and the evidence has been received. Again, if you have any questions about how to submit the form or what types of evidence should be submitted for DNA analysis, feel free to contact the DNA section supervisor, Michelle Jackson, at 318-227-2889. Thanks. Hope you've enjoyed this video.